After a year of waiting, the World of Outlaws stop-motion sprint car series is back, and it is better than ever. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Volusia Speedway Park for the 2024 stop-motion dirt car nationals. It's a cool 71 degrees out here in Volusia County, but unfortunately we've had a bit of rainfall for the past couple days. But the track prep crew has done an amazing job getting the track prepared for tonight. We've got a very talented roster for today's event, so we're looking forward to a very action-packed night. Taking a look at today's format, we have 2 heat races, 4 laps each, winner gets 50 points, top 2 advance to the dash, and everyone advances to the feature. You got the 3-lap qualify dash, which determines what position those 4 drivers will be starting in the A main feature. Then of course the A main feature, winner gets 150 points, and it is 8 laps. Like I said, it's going to be a very action-packed night of racing. We've got a car count of 15 tonight, with many of them going full-time with the series this year, so we'll go over a couple of them right now. Aaron Reitzel and the Ridge & Sons Racing number 8 had a decent run with the series last season, gathering 2 top 5s and 1 top 10. He'll be competing in his first full-time season this year, so I would keep an eye out for Aaron Reitzel. Another driver to look out for is the number 41 of Carson Macedo. This will be his second full-time season with the series. He did rack up 1 top 5 and 2 top 10s in season 1, and also claimed that B main event over at the Outlaw vs Posse Showdown at Port Royal. He's been showing lots of improvement recently, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's a top contender this year. A driver many people want to see have a comeback this season is the number 48 of Danny Dietrich. Last season was an absolute train wreck for Danny. If any of you remember, he had 2 incidents where he finished with a DNF. His first incident occurred at the 2022 Kings Royal, where he made contact with Lance Deweese, and of course the incident he had over at Port Royal. He'll be tackling his first full-time season this year, so I would keep an eye out for Danny Dietrich. That is only a few of the many drivers we'll see competing with the series this season. This series is going to be one for the history books, and I cannot wait for it to start. Sprints are starting to get pushed out and ready for heat number 1, so without further ado, let's go down to the track and go over the heat 1 starting lineup. Starting on the pole, coming out of Lemoore, California, it is the number 41 of Carson Macedo. On the outside, starting in the second place position, driving the KCP Racing number 18 out of Fresno, California, it is Giovanni Scelzi. Starting on the inside of row 2, in the Ridge & Sons Racing number 8, it is Aaron Reitzel, and on his outside, the 3Z of Brock Zierfoss. Starting on the inside of row 3, out of Gold Coast, Queensland, Australia, it is the number 7 of Lockie McHugh. On his outside, you got the number 88 of Austin McCarl, and starting dead last in the 44, Dylan Norris. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the time we have all been waiting for. It is showtime. Macedo and Scelzi leads them off as they go down the front stretch. Giovanni Scelzi with an amazing run on the outside. Really good speed on the back stretch. Goes to the outside. Mix gets caught up in the cushion. Giovanni Scelzi loses it. Goes back to 3rd place. Aaron Reitzel having a decent run on the inside. Macedo to the outside, gets caught up in the cushion, get a little bit sideways right there. Turns 3 and 4 are deadly right now. Lockie McHugh giving Giovanni Scelzi a run for his money, trying to get that 3rd place position, goes for a slider and he's able to pull it off. Giovanni Scelzi back to the inside, goes in for a comeback slider, he's able to pull it off. Lockie McHugh makes contact with the wall, slowing down on the back stretch. Macedo first, Reitzel second, Giovanni Scelzi third, and McHugh falls all the way back to last. Macedo, asserting pure dominance from the inside and on the outside, was able to keep the lead for the entire time. Just all in all, a very impressive victory by Carson Macedo. On the other hand, it was a very unfortunate ending for Lockie McHugh. I really thought after that slider he would have got to keep that 3rd place position, but Giovanni Scelzi had amazing speed on the front stretch, and that slider just did it for him, made contact, and that was it. So both Carson Macedo and Aaron Reitzel will be transferring to the qualify dash. If we take a look back at turns 3 and 4 of lap 1, you'll see that Giovanni Scelzi went a little bit too high, getting caught up in the cushion, bouncing the car a little bit, which ultimately led him to just staying in 3rd place. Then almost the same thing happened to Carson Macedo on lap 2. He actually almost hit the wall right there, but luckily he was able to gain control over the car and was able to keep the lead. Then of course he had the comeback slider from Giovanni Scelzi trying to take 3rd place, where you could see Lockie McHugh getting a little bit sideways right there, just trying to prevent himself from making contact with Gio, and made contact with the wall right there, and yeah, that just completely killed his momentum and ultimately led him finishing in last. The track is unfortunately really rough right now, but it should ease out as the night progresses. Turns 3 and 4 are absolutely atrocious right now, but luckily the drivers are starting to adapt to it, so hopefully there isn't any incidents caused by those turns. Drivers are starting to get pushed out and ready for heat number 2, so without further ado, here is your heat 2 starting lineup. Starting on the inside of row number 1, in the Big Game Motorsports number 2, the Quick Time Qualifier out of Watertown, Connecticut, it is David Gravel. Starting on the outside of row number 1, in the TSR Racing number 15, he just surpassed 500 total sprint car wins, it is Donnie Schatz. On the inside of row number 2, in the CJB number 5, it is Spencer Baston. On his outside, in the Macri Motorsports number 39M, it is Anthony Macri. On the inside of row number 3, it is the number 9 of Casey Kane, and on his outside, the number 48 of Danny Dietrich. Starting on the inside of row number 4, it is the number 11 of Brenham Crouch. Then starting dead last in the additional TSR car, it is the number 15C of Sunshine Tyler Courtney. Gravel and Schatz leads them off as they go down turns 3 and 4 and down the front stretch. Donnie Schatz with a pretty good run on the outside flies past him down the back stretch. Off of turns 3 and 4, really good start for Donnie Schatz. Gravel's not even having a bad run on the inside, just Donnie Schatz ripping that top so well, getting so much speed on the straightaways. Meanwhile, we have a battle for 5th place. Anthony Macri gets past Crouch and Danny Dietrich to the outside. They make contact on the back stretch. Car spinning uncontrollably, finally comes to a stop. Safety crew running over to the crash. Parts scattered all over the track. Dietrich's car is just completely demolished. Tow truck going over there too. Just a whole bunch of people going over to make sure he's alright. I do see some movement in the cockpit. Looks like he is moving his arms around, so it does look like that he is conscious, so that is very fortunate. From what I see up here, it looks like there is some damage to that 11 car to the right side of it, so I'm not really sure if it's major or not. I guess we'll have to see. Dietrich just came out of nowhere off of turn 2. I mean, I don't think Crouch knew he was on his outside, so I think that's why they made contact. I don't think Crouch knew he was there. I mean, the car is completely totaled. Luckily, from what we've been told, does look like Dietrich is okay. He was seen walking on his own power getting out of the car. Not sure if he'll be taken to the hospital for evaluation. He most likely will. Look at all that debris, just tons of parts scattered everywhere. This is just very bad. They are starting to pick up debris off the track, and it does look like they are taking him in for evaluation. Just something they do for precaution, make sure there's nothing wrong with him, no head injuries. Usually with incidents like this, there is a risk for head injuries, anything like that. So don't be alarmed, just something they do for precaution. We're going to take a look back at the replay. You can see Dietrich on the outside getting off of turn 2 down the backstretch. Had some really good speed, and yeah, Crouch just didn't know he was there. He had amazing speed, and that's where he hits the wall right there, and where it all took place. Parts scattering everywhere. Just a very brutal wreck. We're very lucky that he is okay. You can even see that Crouch hit the wall right there too. That's probably where he got most of the damage from. Most of the debris has been picked up, and they do have Danny into the ambulance, ready to go off to the hospital. There they go right there, and it does look like I was right. They are taking Brenham Crouch into the pits. There he goes right there. There is a significant amount of damage on the back stretch, so we will be taking a short intermission to clean up the track. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Stop Motion DIRTcar Nationals. If you're now just tuning in, here's a quick recap of what happened before the intermission. Both David Gravel and Donnie Schatz were having quite the battle for first. Meanwhile, there was a huge battle for 5th place, with Dietrich going to the outside of Brenham Crouch, and they made contact on the back stretch, which led to Dietrich spinning around uncontrollably, just completely demolishing his car. Fortunately, he was alright, and was able to walk on his own power. Now the sprints are starting to get fired back up and ready for the restart. Green flag is waving. They go down the front stretch. David Gravel with a decent start on the outside gets a good jump off of turn 2. Donnie Schatz going in for a slider, and it sticks. He leads him off as the white flag waves. Gravel to the inside of Schatz. Schatz gets a little bit sideways up top. Schatz going in for a last chance slider, but just can't pull it off. Gravel first, Schatz second, and Spencer Baston third. David Gravel with a surprisingly really good restart. I mean, I really thought Donnie Schatz had this one locked down. He was having amazing speed before the caution, so not really sure what happened. I guess the inside was just not on his favor. Even on the outside, he was still having issues, like right there. It looks like he hit a rut or something, which got him a little bit straightened out, which ultimately led him finishing in second. Then he went in for the last chance slider, but just didn't have enough room, and yeah. Let's not forget that David Gravel was the quick time qualifier, so he does know how to get around the track pretty well, so I would definitely keep an eye out for him. So both David Gravel and Donnie Schatz will be advancing to the Qualify Dash, and speaking of the Qualify Dash, sprints are getting pushed out and ready for the Dash. Ladies and gentlemen, let's not forget that this race does determine what position the top 4 drivers will be starting in the feature. Lights are out, 3 laps, Gravel and Macedo leads them off as they go down the front stretch. Macedo to the outside, gets cut off by Gravel. Macedo cuts back to the inside, goes in trying something in the middle, can't work it out. Gravel pretty much unstoppable on the top, having amazing speed. Looks like Macedo went a little bit too high on the inside. White flag is waving. Looks like David Gravel has it locked down. Macedo trying everything he can to get past him, just nothing's working out. Looks like he might be having trouble staying to the inside too. It's just too late. David Gravel gets first already. Macedo gets second. Donnie Schatz third, and Aaron Reitzel fourth. David Gravel on a dominant run right now. He is just absolutely unstoppable right now. So he will be starting on the pole in the feature. We are going to go take a look, but it kind of looked like Macedo was having problems on the inside, which is his prominent lane tonight. Yeah, you can notice that his speed getting off of turn 2 was nothing close to what it was in the heat. As you guys know, he was switching off from the bottom and top lane, so I'm actually surprised that Schatz didn't get around him right here, because Schatz wasn't having a bad run on the top, so props to Carson Macedo for being able to keep his position. Ladies and gentlemen, before we get to the A main event, we'll be taking a short intermission to clean up the track for the event. Welcome back from intermission. If you're now just tuning in, welcome to the 2024 Stop Motion DIRTcar Nationals. It's already been a crazy night of racing. Lots of sliders, crashes, wheel-to-wheel action. We have it all with the World of Outlaws. Sprints are pushed out and ready for the A main event. So without further ado, here is your starting lineup. Driving for Crouch Motorsports, he had a little bit of trouble in Heat 2, but he is back and ready for revenge. It is the number 11 of Brenham Crouch. Starting in the 13th position in the Lee Smith Yachts number 7 out of Gold Coast, Queensland, Australia, it is Lockie McHugh. Starting in the 12th place position in the Macri Motorsports number 39M, it is the Concrete Kid, Anthony Macri. Starting on the inside of row number 6 out of Altoona, Iowa, it is the number 88 of Austin McCarl. In the 10th place position out of Indianapolis, Indiana, in the TSR Racing number 15C of Sunshine, Tyler Courtney. On the inside of row number 5 in the Caravan Feel Me number 9, the 2004 Nextel Cup Series Rookie of the Year, it is Casey Kane. Starting in the 8th place position in the Go Brick Motorsports number 44, it is Dylan Norris. On his inside, in the Moose's LZ Bar and Grill number 3Z out of Jonestown, Pennsylvania, it is Brock Zierfoss. On the outside of row number 3, in the CJB Motorsports number 5 out of Lebanon, Indiana, it is Spencer Baston. Starting in the 5th place position out of Fresno, California, in the KCP Racing number 18, it is Giovanni Selzi. On the outside of row number 2, in the Ridge & Sons Racing number 8, it is Aaron Reitzel. On the inside of row number 2, he's had a decent night so far. In the TSR Racing number 15, it is Donnie Schatz. Starting on the outside of row number 1, in the Jason Johnson Racing number 41, out of Lemoore, California, it is Carson Macedo. And starting on the pole out of Watertown, Connecticut, in the Big Game Motorsports number 2, it is David Gravel. Now it's time for the coolest sight in racing, the 4-wide salute. Volusia Speedway Park, you wanted the best, you got them 4 abreast, often imitated, never duplicated. It's the greatest show on dirt, the Stop Motion World of Outlaws Sprint Cars. Ace Truck pulls into the infield, lights are out, Gravel and Macedo leads them off as they go down turns 3 and 4, and it is showtime at Volusia Speedway Park. Gravel to the inside, whoa, Reitzel gets sideways off of turn 2. He's able to save himself, but loses a couple positions. Macedo gets a little bit sideways right there too. Gravel sticking to the inside lane, and Macedo, they're side by side on the back stretch. Looks like Gravel going in for a slider, is able to work it. Giovanni Selby takes the second place spot. Macedo falls back to third. Gravel creating some space between him and second. There's actually some smoke coming out of that 18 car. Giovanni Selby working that inside lane while Gravel creates a huge margin between them. And lap traffic is already becoming a factor. It's only lap 4. Gravel trying to get around that 11 car. He does so pretty easily. Giovanni Selby trying to do the same, and he's able to. Selby gets a little bit sideways on turn 3. Luckily, he's able to save himself. Lap traffic really starting to become an issue for Gio, but gets around him pretty easily, cuts back to the inside. David Gravel rolls off turn 4, and there's a car slowing down on the back stretch. 41 Carson Macedo. He was just in third place, so I'm not really sure what happened. He may have blown his motor or something, but it looks like he may be out of the race. This is very unfortunate because he wasn't having that bad of a night, just heartbreak city for Carson Macedo. On the other hand, David Gravel is pretty much unstoppable. He's kept the lead for the entire time. All he has to do is keep this up for 2 more laps, and he's got his first win of the season. But I would not count out Giovanni Selby. I mean, he's still having a decent run in second. The lap traffic kind of threw him off pace a little bit, but he could very well win this. Macedo has pulled off into the infield, so sadly his night is over, but we'll be going single file and 2 more laps to go. Going green, white, checkered, green flag is waving. David Gravel leads him off as they go down the front stretch. He takes the outside, gets a little bit sideways. What did I say? Giovanni Selby takes the lead. Gravel trying that inside. Selby gets around him. White flag is waving. Selby having a good run on the top. They're side by side on the back stretch. David Gravel in for the winning slide job. He makes contact with his tail tank. Giovanni Selby passes the finish line. David Gravel spinning out in the infield. He's still going to try to finish, but it's just too late for a yellow flag. Race is already finished. What a finish to the Stop Motion DIRTcar Nationals. Everyone give it up for your 2024 champion, Giovanni Selby. David Gravel's actually stalled on the back stretch. Not sure what happened there, but just what an insane ending to end off the night. We're going to take a look back and see what exactly happened. It looks like David Gravel hit that rut in between turns 1 and 2, and yeah, that's exactly what happened. Then if we take a look at the slider, he just slid up a little bit too high, hit the front of Giovanni Selby, which of course spun him out, and yeah, just a very, very frustrating end for David Gravel. Our top 3 drivers are pulling out onto the front stretch as Giovanni Selby celebrates his victory, his well-earned victory. So while he does so, we'll go over the final race results, which some of them may shock you. Of course, in first place, you have Giovanni Selby, which went up 4 positions. Donnie Schatz went up 1 position. Austin McCarl went up 8 positions. Brock Zierfoss, Dylan Norris, Casey Kane, and Tyler Courtney all went up 3 positions. Aaron Reitzel went down 4. David Gravel went down 8 positions after that spin out. Lockie McHugh went up 3. Spencer Baston down 5. Anthony Macri breaking even. Brenham Crouch up 1. And Carson Macedo with the DNF. Then we'll take a look at the top 10 in point standing so far. Giovanni Selby and Donnie Schatz tied at 196. Brock Zierfoss at 188. Austin McCarl at 186. Dylan Norris, Casey Kane, Aaron Reitzel, and David Gravel all tied at 184. Tyler Courtney at 180. And Spencer Baston at 176. This has been a crazy night of racing, and I'm glad you guys were here for it. Thank you guys for tuning in to the 2024 Stop Motion DIRTcar Nationals. We'll see you guys next time in California for the VP Racing Shootout. This is Dominic Edlin, signing off.